Hi everyone, this is Arohi and in this video I'll show you the practical implementation of single shot detector. So in my last video I have explained you the code using which you can prepare training data for SSD. So before implementing today's code, I will recommend you to go through that video because it is very important to understand the data which you are going to use for your model training. So link is given in description section. Let's begin with the code of SSD layer structure. So this is the layer structure of SSD, right? So let me brief you the architecture first, then I'll show you the code then. All right. So over here, input image is going to VGG16 network, and we are getting extracted feature maps from here. Then we are using 6 prediction layers, these 6 prediction layers, alright. These 6 layers are convolutional layers and the task of each layer is to perform object detection. Important thing to note over here is why we are using 6 layers for predictions. Means when we can simply use one layer for prediction, right? So why we are using this 6 layers for prediction? So the logic behind this 6 prediction layer is that we are getting different size of feature map in every layer, right? We are getting different size of feature map in every prediction layer. That means we are predicting the classification score and the bounding box from different scales. Alright. On the other hand, when we use only one prediction layer, at that time we are only predicting classification score and bounding box using one feature map. Alright. So when we are using one prediction layer, what is happening in that case? We are using only one feature map for predicting bounding boxes and classification scores. But in this particular case, we are using 6 prediction layers. Means we are predicting this classification scores and this bounding boxes on multiple scales. And finally, we are having this object detection. We are getting 8732 bounding boxes for each object. Means these 6 layers will give us 8732 bounding boxes per object. Alright. And finally, we are using non-mix suppression, and the task of NMS is to, see what all bounding boxes are, duplicate bounding boxes, and then we will be having only limited number of boxes, right? Let me show you the code now. So first of all, I'm importing all the required modules. So these are the modules. We are taking these modules, we are importing these modules. These are ready-made modules, and we are taking it from Keras or TensorFlow. And then we are having these three modules. These three modules we have created ourselves. I'll share the code of these modules with you. So let me brief you first of all what is there in these modules. So we have one file with the name of Keras layer anchor boxes, and we have one function with the name of anchor boxes in it. So this function is responsible for creating anchor boxes. Alright. And then we have L2 normalization. This L2 normalization is again a function. Why we are using this L2 normalization? Because in original paper of SSD, they have used this L2 normalization. So that's why we are using it. Alright. And this is a very small function, a few line of code only. And then we have decode detection function. See, this decode detection function, it will basically check the confidence score and will pick the top 200 predictions for every object. What I'm trying to say over here is, as I've just told you, that we will be getting 8732 bounding boxes per object. Out of these 8732 bounding boxes per object, this decode detection will check the confidence score and will pick the top 200 prediction, top 200 bounding boxes for each object, right? So this is what we are going to have in these three files. All right. Now these are the important model configuration variables. We need it while making a function for SSD. We need these parameters. So what it is? Image size, So image which we are going to have is input height and width would be 300 and the color of image would be 3, that means RGB, and the number of classes we are going to have 20, mean color. So these are the different mean values per color. So guys, I have explained these parameter in my previous video, so link is already given in description section, so you can check it, you can understand what these parameters are. I have explained these parameters in that particular video, means why we are using these scale values, what are these values, so you can understand all these things in that particular video. All right, and then we are creating a function with the name of ssd underscore 300. This is the function which will contain the code of layer architecture of ssd, and these are the important parameters while writing this particular function. So what are the important parameters? Means what is the size of image, how many classes, output classes we are going to have, L2 regularization, what all scales we want to use, what are the different aspect ratios we want to use, right? And these are the other coordinates, and what will be the intersection over union threshold we want to use, confidence threshold we want to use. So these all things are the important parameters which are required while writing this SSD architecture, layer architecture. All right, and then this n predictor layer, this variable is having value 6. Why it is having value 6? Basically, how many prediction layers we are going to have? 6. As I've just shown you, how many prediction layers we are going to have? 6. So this is the number which we are storing in this particular variable, and n classes, I've told you that number of classes are 20. We are adding one in it just for a background class. In this L2 reg is a variable which is the shorter form for this, so that we can write this shorter thing instead of writing this whole thing. Okay, and then we have three variable: height, image width, and image channel. Image height is 300, image width is 300, and image channel is 3. All right, and in x variable we are inputting this shape. All right, now we will be working on this image which is stored in x. So as I've just shown you that the starting of this single shot detector is with the initial network which we are using over here is VGG16. This 16 means we are going to have 16 layers. Okay, so this is what we are doing over here, starting from here, and it will go till here. This is the code of VGG16. See guys, I'm not going to explain you this whole code now, like of VGG16. Obviously I'll explain you the code which is related to SSD, but this is VGG16. If you want to understand this code in depth, so link is given in description section which is related to VGG16. You can check that link and you can understand the VGG16 model in detail. Alright, so for now I'll explain you the one layer. In the same way other layers are working, the only difference will be the number of filters. Okay, so the very first layer is convolutional layer, and this layer is going to have 64 filters of size 3 by 3, and the activation function we are using is ReLU, and the padding is same, and then we are assigning the initializer, kernel initializer, and the kernel regularizer. Okay, and the output of previous layer means the output of first layer is getting stored in this, and the output of previous layer will become the input to next layer. This is how this entire network is working, and this is the code, as I've already told you, this is the code of VGG16. And after VGG16 we are having the code for 6 predictor layers. Alright, these 6 predictor layers. Now we want to write the code for these 6 predictor layers. Alright, so let's see the code. Give me a second. So this is the code. Okay, so if you'll see over here, first of all we are creating these 6 convolutional layers, predictor layers. So these are the 6 different variable, first variable, second variable, and in the same way these are the other variable. These 6 variables are storing this 6 prediction layers. All right, so what we are doing over here, what is the task of this prediction layer? See, the task is to predict classification score and bounding box, as I've told you few minutes back only. See, as I've told you over here also, what is the task of these predictor layers? The task of these layers are to predict classification score and bounding box. All right. So, okay. So, see, how can we predict the classification score and bounding box? So we can do it by predicting the class confidence value for each box, right? So now what we want is we will be calculating the class confidence value, and how many classes we are having in a data set? So we are having 20 classes in a data set, right? And we want to predict which bounding box have which particular object, and we can know this by calculating a confidence score. So the class with the higher confidence value will be the label of that particular bounding box, right? So this is what we are doing over here in these boxes. This box, right, bounding box, and then the class. This is 3 by 3 filter we are using, padding and kernel initializers, these are the other things. So in the same way we are performing for other 6 layers. So what we have done in these 6 layers, first of all, over here we are only predicting the classification score, and for predicting the classification score, what we are doing, we are calculating the class confidence value. And how we can calculate the class confidence value? By simply checking, by simply knowing, means which particular bounding box is covering which particular object, and the box which will be having the highest confidence value for any particular object, that particular bounding box will belong to that particular class. So this is what we are doing over here, right? And then this thing again, if you'll see, we are having 6 variables again over here, right? So these are again 6 variable. Now the next task is to predict bounding box coordinates for each box. So over here what we have predicted, over here we are predicting the classification score, that class confidence value. In this 6 layers we are predicting the this class confidence value, and in these 6 lines we are predicting the bounding box coordinates, right? So this, see, output would be like this: height and width, and then the boxes, and then into 4. This 4 simply means the this bx, by, bh and bw, these are the 4 bounding box coordinates. So this is what we are doing in these 6 layers, all right? And after that, in this line, in these 6 variables, again if you'll see, these are the 6 variables again, okay, till here, starting from here till here, these are the 6 variables again, and these 6 variables are creating anchor boxes for each prediction layers. So we are having 6 prediction layers, so we are calling this anchor boxes function, which I have shown you above. Let me show you again. Anchor boxes, the code is written in a separate file, right? So this is having a code with the help of which we can create anchor boxes, and we want to create anchor boxes for each of these 6 layers. So that means we need to call this anchor boxes function 6 times, one for each layer, right? So this is what I'm doing over here. So anchor boxes. So while creating anchor boxes, see what all things we need to know when we want to create anchor boxes, right? So for creating anchor boxes, the parameter which are required are height and width of the image, different scales and aspect ratios and coordinates, right? So if you'll see over here, I have called all those required parameters which are necessary while creating anchor box: image height and image width on which you want to plot this anchor box, right? And then the scale values, and then the different aspect ratios, right? So this is what we are doing for every prediction layers. So now we have created anchor boxes also for the all 6 layers. Now the next task is, see, now the task is very simple. We are only reshaping our data, the data which we got from the these above functions, right? So we are basically reshaping it. Now see guys, I'll share this code, and in comment section I have mentioned also like what is the task which we want to perform in the below lines. So this comment is for these 6 lines. Now first of all, what we are doing over here is we want data in this format, means we want this classes, n classes, in the last axis. So why we want the classes in last axis? Because we want to perform the softmax activation function, which will tell us the probability of every object for class. All right, so that's why we are reshaping it. You can simply say we are reshaping it. That said, we are not doing anything else. We are only reshaping this class. Okay, and why we are reshaping the class? Because we want to have this class at the end like this, so that we can perform activation function on it, and rest of the things are here. All right, so this is what we are reshaping. And in these 6 lines, now we are reshaping the box predictions. Basically what we want is, now we want to reshape our data in this format, right? So these are the 4 bounding box coordinates. See, we are reshaping those coordinates only. Rest of the things are, see, this is the name of the layer of this particular thing, and this is the input to this layer. Input to this layer will be the output of the previous layer. All right, so this is what we are doing over here. So we have reshaped the bounding boxes also. Now the task is to reshape the anchor boxes. Reshape this 8. So why we are having this 8 over here? So I have written over here also like what this 8 is. So this 8 is basically 4 anchor boxes coordinates and the 4 variance value for each box. So total number of things will be anchor boxes is 8. Okay. So this is what I'm doing over here. So we want anchor boxes coordinates at the end. So we are reshaping it like this. All right. Now what we want is, let's go back to this architecture only. So till now we have worked separately for each layer, but now what we want is, we want to concatenate the results of each layer. We want to concatenate all the classification scores together, and we want to concatenate all the bounding boxes together, and we want to concatenate all the anchor boxes together. All right, so this is what I have done over here. So we have performed concatenation 3 times. One concatenation is responsible. This concatenation, what we are doing over here, we are concatenating the classes over here, and over here we are concatenating the bounding boxes, and over here we are concatenating the anchor boxes. And these are the variables which are storing the data of anchor boxes after reshaping, right? Over here we have reshaped the data, right? And these are the variables which means we are concatenating the layers after reshaping, and all the classes are getting concatenated in one variable, and all the bounding boxes are concatenated in one variable, and anchor boxes in one variable. And finally we are performing activation softmax function and predictions. Now we finally want to see the predictions, and this is how you can see. See, we are having 3 things together. We will have a class score, and then the bounding boxes, and then the default boxes. Okay, and finally we are calling it in a model variable input I have given in X in the very first line of our code, and outputs is equal to these predictions, and we are returning a model. So see guys, this is how you can write a SST model, right? So guys, I'll share this code on my GitHub, and this code, the code which I have given, I will give you today, and the prior code which is related to ground truth boxes, right? You can club this code, and then you can first of all create ground truth boxes on your training data, and then apply this model on it. And in my next video I'll show you how to finally see the predictions, right? Till now I have explained you the code, but I haven't shown you the output, right? So in my next video, that will be my last video on SST, because in next video we will see the output results. So guys, if you like the video, please subscribe my channel and like and share my channel to support me, and thank you for watching.